We're joined now by the Sky News commentator Adam Boulton, who's also a presenter on Times Radio, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch. Adam, lovely to have you on the programme, as always. And I feel like as someone who's worked for Rupert Murdoch for many years, I'm interested in your take on this story. I mean, first things first, should we expect to see a big change now that Rupert Murdoch is standing down?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he has been co-chair of these companies with his son Lachlan. Lachlan is now the sole chair, and I think there will be continuity, although it's important to say that Lachlan is the only one of the adult children who's not spent a lot of time in the UK. I don't think he's particularly interested in the UK, and I think the tone of that message, which was just quoted there, was very much aimed for American audiences, if you like, in the culture wars that are going on there. And I suspect that will be where Lachlan's focus is. Of course, Rupert Murdoch is not retiring. He's making it clear that he's going to continue to take an interest in the businesses. He has the controlling vote on the family trust. And so the direction of the companies will only change after Rupert Murdoch has left the scene completely, when it'll be down to his children, who have the voting shares and who certainly don't agree on their outlook of the world, to decide what to do with the company.
It's interesting you're saying that you're not sure if Lachlan has that much interest in the UK. I mean, do you think that means, we could even see a world where some of the UK titles and companies are sold?
Well, I mean, one of the interesting things about Rupert Murdoch is that he had the skill coming out of Australia, although being an upper-class Australian, knowing how Britain worked, going to Oxford, to leverage the company he built in Australia to give him access in the UK, and then to leverage what he created in the UK to get into the media market in the United States. And of course, he is now an American citizen. His children can't follow that life history, if you like. And it's also true, I think, that the expansion of newspapers, which Rupert Murdoch was very much part of, the expansion of linear television, which he also was a pioneer in, that era, if you like, is coming to an end with the arrival of digital technology. So that in that sense, the fact that Rupert Murdoch basically sold his television interests, including Sky News, which he'd founded in 2018, I think was recognition that that era is over. And in a sense, what Lachlan Murdoch has got now is the chairmanship of a legacy business, as Michael Wolff was suggesting in that clip, and also in his new book, which is entitled The Fall, the End of Fox News and the Murdoch Dynasty.
Adam, I was really struck by part of the statement that was published today, where Rupert Murdoch says, elites have open contempt for those who are not members of their rarefied class. Most of the media is in cahoots with those elites, peddling political narratives rather than pursuing the truth. I mean, some people will look at that and think, hang on a minute, Rupert Murdoch, you have to look at who was there at his wedding. He was the one, who was in cahoots with those elites, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's always been one of the things about him. I mean, he is caricatured as a kind of Australian vulgarian, but as I said, he was from the upper classes, he was Oxford educated, and he has had access throughout his career. He's got himself access to the people in power. I think the point he's trying to make is that the Sun, for example, he understood what popular tastes were, and he served them and gave them prominence in a way that perhaps they had been ignored in a rather kind of rarefied media atmosphere before. And that, I think, is what people who criticize Rupert Murdoch dislike, that he, through his various media organizations, has given voice to people who didn't have a voice before. And quite a lot of elites don't necessarily like those voices which they've heard.
Do you think that he had an undue influence over politicians in the UK?
Well, he used to say that I'm not as powerful as they think I am, but who am I to disabuse them? I think that by and large, he saw what his readers, his audiences, where they stood, and therefore read the political mood and wanted to be on the winning side. I think the arrival of Margaret Thatcher was a moment for him, because she shared his same views about the power of the trade unions and the need for British business to a certain extent to be unleashed in order to promote the British economy. But then, of course, he was quite happy working to support Tony Blair and the Labour government, switching back under Gordon Brown, of course, to the Conservatives. And we saw similar patterns in both the United States and Australia, where basically he would give a fair wind to people in power until the point that he felt that they were obstructing his businesses. I think building his businesses came first with him, rather than being a megalomaniac and inflicting his views on the rest of the world.
What's your take on Fox as well? Earlier this year, of course, they had to pay out hundreds of millions of dollars to stop a trial over the Fox's role broadcasting effectively conspiracy theories about the US election. I mean, how much damage do you think that's done?
Well, it's certainly done damage to his reputation. And I think the problem with Fox News is when Fox News was founded, and it was founded after Sky News, it was catering to a section of the American public that had been largely ignored, that there were people who voted for the Bushes and for Ronald Reagan. And frankly, if you looked at CNN and ABC and NBC and CBS News, they were from a coastal viewpoint, from New York and Los Angeles, sharing a certain set of liberal values. And Fox News found an audience very quickly. I think there's quite a lot of evidence, and certainly Michael Wolff, who's written a couple of books about this, would say this, that Fox News Channel really ran away from Rupert Murdoch, who was quite a conventional business conservative, first of all under Roger Ailes, who of course built Fox News and then had to leave, now dead, and then under the Donald Trump era and with the arrival of Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson as presenters. I think to say that what they were saying was what Rupert Murdoch believed is unfair, but the fact of the matter was there was an era when those channels were extremely profitable, and as a businessman, that seemed to be irresistible. I mean, Rupert Murdoch's private thoughts about Donald Trump are, dismissive to abusive, but at the same time, if the man becomes president, what is a business leader in the United States going to do? Is he going to go after him, or is he going to seek to make some sort of alliance with him? And he chose to make that alliance.
Thank you very much. Always good to get your perspective. I have to say, I love the caricature on the wall behind you as well, Adam. Couldn't help noticing that one. Thank you very much.